Beginning with a slip knot, I'm going to make a scarf out of curlicues, little twirly, spirally things. I'm using a double knitting yarn. I'm in the UK. This is what we call this thickness of yarn. If you're not sure what that thickness is in your country, just look on the ball band of your ball of yarn, and if it asks for 4mm or the equivalent knitting needle, that's the thickness of yarn that you need. You can of course use any thickness and any size hook. I'm using a 4mm hook. Depending on how big, how long, how thick and chunky you want the scarf. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine. And you just make a length of chain and keep going, making chain stitches until your chain is roughly the length of the scarf that you want. I'm going to do 170, which isn't a very long scarf. You might want it longer than that. Of course, if you're using a bigger hook or thicker yarn, you'll need less stitches. So when you've done your length of chain, wrap the yarn around the hook and insert your hook into the fourth chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do a treble. I'm in the UK, we call this stitch a treble stitch. You may well call it a double crochet. I'm going to do these trebles all the way along to the end of the chain. Coming to the end now of that chain. There's 2 left there, 1 there. Oops, 1 more. And I'm not going to do 1 in that, I'm going to do 6 trebles into that last stitch. That's 1, 2, okay, so really you've gone right round the corner there now, and a bit of starting thread there's hanging down underneath. And as you look along the underside, so we've been working that way, gone round the corner. We're going to work on the bottom loops of the chain. You can see them quite clearly. We've actually done one in the first loop. Can't really bring it, doesn't quite focus. Hope you can see there. But these little loops all along the bottom. Do the same again. Work in trebles, inserting your hook into each of those loops. Right to the other end. So I'm coming to the end now. Just a couple more loops to go into there, a couple more stitches, well actually more than a couple, because we're going to the second to the last one, the penultimate loop. There we go. And then into this last one we need to do 6 trebles. That's 6 done. And then there's your starting chain. Should be 3 there. You just need to do a slip stitch into the top of those 3. So pull the yarn through and then pull it through the loop on your hook. And we're going to do 1 chain to turn. I'm going to do curlicues now all the way round on all edges, ends as well. And we'll start There's your last stitch, there's the slip stitch. Just going to start by doing a double crochet, that's a single crochet if you're American, a double crochet into there, and then for the curlicue I'm going to do 15 chain. I want this to be quite a narrow curlicue, not a big fat one, so I'm going to do double crochet. So one double crochet into the second chain from the hook. Now for a curlicue, as you know, or don't know, you need to do several stitches into each chain to make it curl round. So I want 3 into each chain, but that makes it far too bulky. So instead I'm doing 1 into each chain, 1 double crochet into each chain with 2 chain in between. So instead of doing 3 double crochet into there, which makes it really stiff and not very flexible, I'm doing a 2 chain instead, and then a double crochet into the next chain, followed by 2 chain between, and just carry on all the way down that length of chain. That will still give it the nice curl without having the bulk of extra stitches in between. So coming to the end then, as you can see, it's beautiful little, quite delicate little curl there. 2 chain. Now that looks like 2 chain there, but that's 1 chain, and that one is actually your double crochet that you did at the beginning. So just finish with a double crochet there, don't do any more chain, and then insert your hook, we've done that one, into the next stitch, insert your hook in the next stitch and do another double crochet, and again 15 chain, and make that into a curlicue. And we're going to do that all around this corner, double crochet into each, and after each double crochet do a chain and do your little curlicue. So I'm just coming to the end of this curlicue, just gone round that corner, doing the last double crochet into there. Now once you've gone round this corner, we want to do a curlicue on every other stitch, otherwise it's going to be far too many, it's going to be very bulky. So miss that stitch altogether and do your double crochet in the next stitch and your 15 chain, and then after you've done your chain and you've done your curlicue, again when you get to the base here, miss that stitch into that stitch, do your curlicue, miss that stitch into the next stitch, all the way along until you get to the very end, and when you get to the other end, do one in every stitch when you go around the corner, and then go right round and back to the beginning. So this is looking pretty good. I've done all along that edge. Come to the other edge there. I'm actually working this way round. There's a bit of a hailstorm out there, sorry about the noise. Whoa, look at that. Anyway, back to this, if we can concentrate. So, you can either just leave it on one edge if you like, but I'm going to do 2 edges. And as before at the beginning, when you get to here, as we've been missing out every other stitch, when you get to here, when you go around that corner, you want extra stitches, so do your double crochet as you did at the beginning into every stitch, and then round the other end, round the other side down to the other end. If you wanted to, you could of course just leave it like that. But I'm going to go all the way round and I'm going to do another row of curlicues down the other side. And I know it's going to drive me nuts, but I think it'll be worth it. So I've finally come to the end of this curlicue scarf. I think I can just fit one more in there. It's the final stitch in there, and then just one more at the base of that curlicue. This one out there, one in there. We're back to the beginning. Just to reiterate, all the way along we've missed a stitch between each curlicue, except for when we went round the bend, so to speak. I've been going around with the bend with this, it's taken forever. All these little curlicues. Well worth it though, I rather like it. Except when we went round the bend and you can fit in one for every stitch there. Whoops, dropped me hook. So then you just need to cut that yarn off. As usual, I've forgotten my scissors, so I'm just going to pull. There we go. Pull that yarn through to finish off, and that's all you do to finish. And then, obviously, you need to tidy up these, so you get a large blunt needle, and darn that end in. Should be one the other end as well. There you go, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Darn that end in as well, and there you are, done.